What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Chazz and brother Ja. How you feeling today, man?
I'm doing well, man. I'm ready to have this discussion from last week. Boy, I tell you, I just been thinking about this subject matter, developing character. This is really going to be an awesome, I think, exposition based upon what we need to discuss. Because when we talk about character, man, a lot of us don't have that discussion, but that's where it's at. That's what's inside of us. That's what we need. But I want to say this before we get started. This
Okay.
broadcast, adults only, real conversations, can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock on the East Coast. And we appreciate everybody for tuning in because it's important that you listen to some truths and then bring your comments, your questions, so we can work through this, navigate through this together as people so we can do the best that we can as people in our societies.
Now, I was going to ask you, why do you think, because we hit on this last week, and sometimes we have a topic where we do 1 week and then the next week we'll change it. Why do you think that we need to keep talking about character when you look in this society and you look at the way these movies are and some of these things are? Why do you think that we need to keep talking about character?
Well, because character is one of those subjects that has been swept under the carpet. It's been swept under the rug. And character has a lot to say about how we are. And if we don't address how we are, then we're violating us becoming better people. And I think that's one of the main issues that we have faced in many, many years. And that's not talking about it. And we have to keep it up front because our kids need to know about how important character is. Our teenagers, our adults, our young adults, even our senior citizens, because this is a lifelong deal that we have to continue to develop, as we'll talk about tonight.
Okay. Well, with that being said, I'm glad that you're ready to go and we fired away. Let's go ahead and get to the first point here. Number one says, tell the truth even when it's hard. Tell the truth when it's hard requires balance, courage with compassion. Now, the thing is that sometimes we don't care how people feel. If that means it'll make us benefit, that means we get the short end of the stick, we don't care. So if that means, like I said, lie to another person's family or just lie at our job or anything, we'll do it because, for number one, we know there's no repercussions. And for number two, we're not really concerned about compassion about how others feel.
Yeah, and when you put that up, I think before that, it says something about tonight's discussion is talking about how to develop character. And these are the ways that we're talking about. Is how do we develop character in our lives? And that was one of the things that we needed to talk about is we have to tell the truth. Too many of us are liars. We're
Yeah.
hypocrites. And, we want to be better people, but it starts with telling the truth. And sometimes the truth is uncomfortable. And that's why, and when you lose a lot of friends, Chad, you're going to lose a lot of friends. And I don't mean be boisterous and mean spirited, but you're going to lose a lot of friends when you start telling the truth. And this is one of the things that a lot of us we seem to shun that. We
Mm.
don't we'll no we'll tell other people the truth, especially if they make us angry. But when it comes to ourselves developing what's inside of us, we tend to shy away from that, and that's what has hurt us a lot.
Well said. Let me go ahead and read real quick. We got a couple comments that just fired in here. Um, Sister Marie fires in here again. She says, Hotel family. We appreciate her as always. And Nuji fires in here. She says, peace and blessings, family. We appreciate those too. And as we go ahead and move on, we appreciate those who commented. This one says, keep your word and do what you say. Now, this is the absolute foundation of truth and integrity. Now, here's the thing. Pause before committing. Somebody asks us, can you do something next week? Say, for example, cut my yard or take me to the bank or whatever. If you know in your heart you're not going to do it, just say, brother or sister, you know what? I'm kind of busy or I can't. But we commit to people knowing in our heart we're not going to. And then when they call us and say, brother, remember I asked you to take me to the bank? Then you get angry with them. You start cussing them out. So if you didn't want to do it, you shouldn't have committed. So my whole thing is, if you're going to do something, be a man or woman. Now, I'm going to say this real quick before I pass it. Things do come up. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the intentional people who sit back and say, I told him I'm going to do this. Now the day has come. Now I'm dodging. I'm ignoring his emails and calls. Those are the kind of people I'm talking about.
Chaz, to be honest with you, you are absolutely correct. And we have to look at tonight's broadcast. Our subject at the bottom is talking about developing character. And we're struggling in that area. The African American and other people are, but I'm kind of just focusing on the African American right now. We need some character building. And see, we can go to church, and I always bring this up because I
Oh,
think, well, and I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it, Chaz. I'm just being fair. We can go
okay.
to church all we want to. We can go to these spiritual meetings all we want to. We can go to the mosque all we want to, and we should. You know, people can do what they want to do. So again, I'm not knocking that. But what I'm saying is that doesn't help us if we're not going to be honest with ourselves, you see. And we
Okay.
tend to think that that covers up. We tend to think if we go to these places or we say magical incantations, we say a few words about Mayat, we say a few words about the Bible, we say a few shurs about the Quran. We
Right.
think that makes us develop character, but it doesn't.
Right.
That's empty. That's very empty. So again, like you mentioned, keep your word. A kid, they don't always do that because again, they're learning, they're growing. But us adults, man, many of us, we know that we're not going to keep our word, and
Right.
we don't do what we say, and that's bad. And this is why we don't get a lot of people who are interested in talking about character, because that's a subject that a lot of us don't want to have on the forefront.
Okay. And the third one, it says, be honest. Stop trying to get over on people all the time. And especially in this society, like I mentioned earlier, this society has been all over social media where it's teaching us to scam people, run up people's credit cards, especially the elderly. They pick up the phone and answer it. They got so much technology now where you tricking them and then they're agreeing to stuff that they thought they didn't agree to. Now you running up their credit card, all this stuff. All of, well, not all, most of society is telling us to get over on people. And we have to say, look, that's not the right thing to do, even though this is what the world is telling me to do. But I have a problem with these people who get these mysterious phone calls. You can, here's the thing, you can't really even pick up the phone anymore because you're afraid that it's a scam. This is how bad this stuff is getting in society. And that all ties together with people telling the truth. Lying, acting like they're your bank, lying, acting like they're a relative or whatever so you can wire their money. This is nonsense at its finest.
Yeah, and I think we need to look within our own hearts because it's good that we talk about what other people do, and we should. But let's add to that. We have to be honest. Stop trying to get over on people all the time. I'm talking about us. Everything ain't about trying to, have a leg up on somebody or, be out front. Life isn't about that all the time. And I think when we talk about be honest, Chaz, that's a discussion that we don't know how to have. We
Right.
don't know how to have it because many of us are not honest. We're duplicitous, meaning we're two-faced. We don't want to tell the truth.
Ooh.
We're afraid to do what we're talking about, which the next point, I think I want to break it down and talk about the importance of what that word means at the bottom that's on the crawl that's going across that says developing character. Developing character means something, and we don't often get that said on a simple level because we're too busy trying to be deep. But I want to look at what does that mean when we say develop character. You should be developing your character. I should
Right.
be developing my character. No one's perfect. We all have building to do. So but wherever we are in this life, we should be working on that character because that's what shapes us and makes us.
Absolutely. Now I got a picture that I'm going to show real quick that I got off of Google. It says a person's character lives deep inside them. It has nothing to do with success, their status, or talent. You don't actually know someone until you know how they operate. Now, a little bit of it is cut off, but I want to touch on the top part of it. People get caught up in what they make, and there's nothing wrong with having a good job or having a good business degree or having these things. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you wrap your whole identity around that, when you shape your whole everything around that, we have a problem. And this thing is basically saying character does not care about what you have or what you don't have. It's basically on something that you build from within.
Yeah, and I can't agree with you more. That's perfect because we often forget what character is because we look at what people have. We look at their material possessions, or we look at how articulate they are, or we look at what they own. Or we look at other aspects of life. And so I really believe that something has happened to us, Chaz, and I really believe that many of us, not all of us, but I
Okay.
believe that many of us are so weak, man. We're so weak internally, and we think we're not weak, but we really are weak because we don't know how to develop the character. We don't look at our character. We don't contemplate on how to become better people. We have a lot of problems, Chaz, and I'm telling you now, I can't wait to say something that's crucial about developing character, because most of us adults, Chaz, I'm not talking about the children, young adults, most of us adults, Chaz, we have some problems, man. We don't want to acknowledge it. We walk around like everything is good. But inside of us, Chaz, there's some things going on. We should be in classes, we should be in courses. See, we run to places that don't help us build character. We need to be in courses and places like you and I are talking now, just practical information, down to earth, information where people can take it and say, I can apply this. We don't want two guys like us or other broadcasts like us. We want to see the social media buffs, those who have 1 million followers. We want to see those on television. We want to see athletes. We want to see church people. We want to see spiritual gurus. We want to see great imams. We want to see wonderful educators. And
Right.
this is our downfall. We don't see that we're in the belly of the beast and we're losing, Chaz. I'm going to say that now, and I'll let you have it over, take it over. But we're really losing right now individually.
I agree with what you said 100%. And like you said, we should be listening to videos or live streams like this. But like you said, we got so many other things that we're so
Okay.
obsessed with. Like this is
Okay.
like almost at the bottom of the totem pole, if you will.
Wow.
Sister Barbara fires in here. She says, "Good evening, Kings. We appreciate her." And as we go ahead and move on to the next one here, it says, "Take responsibility, admit your
Uh-oh.
faults and mistakes." Now, you do have to own your choices, because a lot of us, we always putting our finger at the government, which they are crooked, pointing our fingers at our childhood, how we grew up, our family members that have done things to us. But sometimes you got to say, okay, yes, these things happen, but everything is not always them. We don't know how to take accountability. In fact, the word accountability, I don't even think it's in our repertoire, because we don't know how to say, this is my fault, this is my mistake, and no,
Yeah.
it's not no one else's fault.
That's well said, Chaz, because and to put alongside of that, we don't like to say, I'm wrong, I need help, I don't know how to do this. We are a sick people by and large, because we're not even on the level where we can look at our own lives and assess our lives and say about our lives, we need help. I can't do things. I'm struggling in this area. I made a mistake. I was wrong. We don't say these things. And I told you I was going to say something about development. And this is what I wanted to say about developing character, but the word develop. The reason that most of us struggle with this word developing our characters is because develop means we have to grow. In other words, we have to grow up, Chaz. We have to improve, or we have to make something better than it was, okay? We have to make it better over time. And this development, it requires consistency. So you can't say you're going to develop your character if you're a liar. You stop lying one day, and then the next few days, you start back up again. It
Right.
requires work, man. It requires commitment. And the last thing I'll say about developing character is development requires what many of us don't want to have, and that's internal seriousness. A lot of us, and I don't mean this literally, but a lot of us play too much. Our lives should be much more serious. Now, I don't mean we can't smile and have fun, because I'm one of the biggest clowns there is in the world. But Chaz, there's got to come a time in our lives as African American grown men and women that we look within ourselves and change the way we are, because we know that we're not who we should be. We have fooled ourselves all these years, and now a lot of us don't know how to get rid of it. So now, as I keep saying, we run to places, and these places make us think we're better, and we're not better. And so we have duped our own selves, as Brother Malcolm X says. We have duped our own selves all these years, and now we think we're somebody that we're not.
And I'll go ahead and take it a step further. You kept saying a little while ago that we don't like to develop because that's an ongoing process. And I agree with you 100%, because we want things in the microwave. This society teaches you, I got to have everything now. You only live once, and I can't wait until tomorrow. So when you talk about development, we don't have, quote unquote, the patience to keep going through this continual process. And I agree with you 1,000%.
And Chaz, I definitely want to piggyback off of that, because I mean, we could take our time on this with the responsibility, but that saying that you just said that we all live by, you only live once, that's one of the biggest lies we've ever heard. We don't only live once, we live every day, man. We live every day, but we don't look at it like that. We say you only go around once, so grab all the gusto you can find. And life is not about grabbing gusto. Life is about taking it a day at a time,
Right.
being serious about our faults and our mistakes and learning, and then building on what we have. And this is why I'm telling you, Chazz, most of us will never amount to the people, and I'm talking about myself included. We will
Yeah.
not amount to the people that we should be because, as you mentioned, we have too many irons in the fire, man.
Yeah.
Too many irons in the fire.
And I'll take it a step further, like you just mentioned. We don't, what you would call, we don't have the patience for these things. And the first thing I hear a
Mm,
lot in the black community is you getting on my nerves, or my patience is thin. So with that being said, we have to, what you call, get that stuff out of our system, throw that stuff away, and learn how to develop, because society, and each day you grow up, is constantly changing, constantly moving, and you have to get with the program. We appreciate Sister Barbara. She fires in here. She says, teach, big brother. She's talking about one of us, I guess, giving some good pointers, and we appreciate that. As we move on to the next one here, says, show respect, treat others with dignity. Now, I want to take this. We treat people that, for example, if the president came in here or we seen him, oh yeah, we treat him with all the respect, or a lawyer or someone that's quote unquote high status, we will treat them well. But
Mhm.
if he was a guy that was a janitor, he worked at McDonald's, he worked at CVS, or she worked at CVS and McDonald's, we treat them like crap. You see videos all the time all over YouTube where people are dressed like a homeless person and he'll get treated crappy. But if he waits the next day and changes his clothes and has a Lamborghini or a Bugatti outside, people are rolling. I mean, they are really catering to this man. And I have a problem with that, because it shows how fake people are. It shows how phony people are. And it shows how twisted our mindset, because of what one person has, it basically dictates how I'm going to treat them.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
You know, Chaz, you are cooking tonight. You're really cooking, and that's why I want to sit back and listen, because what you're cooking is really, really something that I need to figuratively eat, because this is beautiful language. But what I'm trying to also say, Chaz, is this: the elderly. We should show everyone respect, but we should have a special place in our heart for the elderly, those who are barely making it, those who can't make it, those who are on fixed incomes, those who are just struggling with life, those who had it rough. We should be showing them respect. But you let a preacher come in, you let an imam come in, you let an entertainer come in, you let an athlete come in, you let someone that has a lot of money come in, and you said it well. We're going to roll out the red carpet for them, and we're
Yeah.
going to treat other people like crap, even with our houses and our apartments and stuff. When people come over that is supposed to be dignified or dignitaries, we tend to want to make it look good so everybody can say, look at this house. Boy,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
good. I can't have my house. I can't have my apartment. I can't have my car like this when so-and-so gonna ride in it. And see, but
Right.
if an elderly was sitting in there, we would just throw them in the car, drive them where we gotta go. This stuff is hilarious because we don't deal with character. And I'm telling you, man, that is our downfall. We have put the cart before the horse. We don't want to talk about character. I'm gonna tell you what we want to do, and I'm gonna give it back over to you. Here it is.
Okay.
We want to be left alone, Chaz.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
all want to go to work, or we all want to, if we're not working, we want to barricade ourselves in rooms, get on computers, and type all day on computers, get on our cell phones, play the games on our phones. We don't want to get out and help people. I was
Yeah.
talking to some kids today for the last 2 days. I've been traveling, speaking with kids, not of the Liberation Academy. But I'm learning, man, that these kids need us, man. I had
Yeah.
so much fun with these kids. I mean, and we really had a great time. They were talking. I interviewed them. They interviewed me, and we were just acting silly. But at the end of the day, man, I left that place and I was so elated. But most of us, we don't want to do anything but get up on Sunday or on
Yeah.
Saturday,
Yeah.
go to the spiritual meeting, listen to this guru, say all these words, and in our hearts, it makes us feel good. And then
Right.
it's right back in the saddle the next day.
Yeah, and I'll take it a step further. Like you talked about the elders. Now, the gym I go to, there's a couple elders that are regularly. Normally, when I'm there, they're normally there, and they're kind of lonely, because I've noticed
Mm,
most elderlies. There are a few ones that are grumpy and cranky, but most of the elders are lonely. And if you say, "Hey, sir," "Hey, ma'am," "How you doing?" They light up like a Christmas tree. They're not used to getting attention. They're not used to people checking on them. They're not used to anything. So it's like when you talk to them, even if it's for 2 minutes, and I'll take it a step further. Sometimes you can't get them off of you because they want someone to talk to. You've been
Yeah.
talking to
Wow.
them. It started for 2 minutes. Now they're talking to you for 10, 20 minutes. You tell them, ma'am, sir, I gotta go, and then they keep on going and going. So the thing is that they're really looking for that. And like you mentioned, we don't treat the elderly, and I'll take it and I'll pass it back, especially when I'm driving. Sometimes people make a mistake on the highway, and when you drive next to them, it's an elderly woman that's barely moving, and we cussing them, giving them the finger. Brother, this is bad. I'll
It
pass.
it is. Since you're cooking, I gotta put some little sauce in this food you're cooking because I always look at us. I don't care if you're an atheist, I don't care if you're a spiritualist, I don't care what you believe, religion. Most of us drive by these rehabilitation centers every day, these nursing homes.
Yeah.
We don't go in there. It used to be back when I was growing up, the preacher used to go visit them all the time.
Yep.
Now he doesn't even visit them anymore. So now
Wow.
they're on their own because we don't care. We don't tend to respect them, but we're the biggest ones that open our mouths hollering about respect. Respect. We don't even think about them the way we're talking about them, and you and I included. So this is an indictment on all of us to
Yeah.
make us better people. And I'll ask all of us this that's watching this broadcast. When is the last time? When is the last time that we've gone to a rehabilitation center, as far as a nursing home or a hospital? I'm not talking about a religious person, just us. And we don't want anything. We don't have to pray for them. We just need to sit there and say, hey, I just wanted to see you. I just wanted to see how you're doing. We
Yeah.
don't do that, Chaz. And I
Yeah.
think where we find ourselves struggling is character, man. And I'm gonna tell you now, Allah will not give you character. Buddha will not give you character. Jesus will not give you character. Even those atheists will not get character. That's something that has to be developed from within. And we have to take our wheels and say, if I believe in whatever I believe in, I've got to put that to work, man. I just can't run my fat mouth talking about
Uh-oh.
concepts that make people feel good when the bottom line is, Chaz, we need to develop our character because many of us are sick, man. We're really sick and we don't see it.
Sister Asia Chantel Ward fires in here. She says that's so true. So she's talking, I guess, both of us, whatever we talked about at that moment, she's absolutely agreeing with it. She seems like a new person, so we appreciate her. And like you said, and I'll go before I go to the next point. It's even worse because we'll go to the nursing home if it's our brother, if it's our
Yeah.
cousin, if it's our
Yeah.
auntie. Well, we need to go to just strangers, people you've never seen from
Cook,
a
Chaz,
hole in
cook.
the wall, just the
Yeah.
average person you never seen. That don't mean the world to them. Now, I'm not saying to not never visit your auntie and uncle. I'm saying break out of that habit and go visit the people you've never seen from a hole in the wall. Um, Number 6 here says, practice kindness, help others without always expecting anything back. Now, I'm gonna take a page out of your book and I'm gonna pass it. We do a lot of things because we're expecting for us to believe in the Bible. We're expecting Mashiach to always give us a blessing. We always expecting some kind of financial wealth within a week, some kind of money. What about if he doesn't give you that? Are you going to
Mm.
just stop cold turkey? Or are you going to say, you know what? I'm not doing this to always want a blessing, quote unquote. I'm doing this because this person or a woman or man is struggling. I want them to have this because I see they're in lack. But see, we do things because we always want something back. And here's the thing, brother. A lot of the times, the people can't pay it back. Now, they should. They may tell us, yeah, bro, I'll pay you back next week, or I'll give you some food stamps next month. And it doesn't happen. So now me and that guy or woman, we got beef now. You promised me them food stamps. Now I'm never coming back to help you. You should, I mean, once again, they should keep their word. But if they don't, chalk it up and just, do it because it's the good thing to do.
Tonight's broadcast, our subject is we're talking about developing character. And these points that you see on the screen, these are points that we're talking about to teach us all how to develop character because most of us, we're struggling right now. And you said about a few weeks ago that a lot of our character is really low. And I agree with you. We don't realize that, but a lot of our character is low. We're liars, we're cheaters, we're not people of our word, and we just seem to have issues. But once again, there's a concept that's called solipsism.
Okay.
Solipsism is where you think that you are the greatest thing since sliced bread. Solipsism says that no matter what happens, you're always expecting something back. And this is the ideology that many people have because in their thinking, they feel as though this world owes them something. This world owes you nothing. This world owes me nothing. And so
Yeah.
when we talk like this, people don't want to get clean, men and women alike. And I want to say this, and I'll let you read this on the screen because I think it's important. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to just be quiet and let you read this. You know what
Okay.
we really are, Chaz?
What's that?
We're frauds, man. Many of us are frauds.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
come on,
frauds.
bruh. Come
Yeah, we're
on, bruh.
frauds. Yeah, we're frauds. We have built up in our mind that we're a certain way,
Yeah.
and in our hearts, we're not. And this is why we go to these places because these places supposed to teach us character. Our mothers and fathers, our grandmothers, our grandfathers, the church, the mosque, the spiritual, all these places that we go to, they're supposed to teach us character. And here we are 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old and been going to these places since we were little children and we're still struggling. That means to tell you something about us. And that is either that stuff that we're going to is not working or we're frauds. And I'd like to believe the latter of the two because principles are beautiful wherever you go. But when we
Right.
don't put them into practice, we're hypocrites, Chaz.
I agree with you. And there's a concept that I've been hearing about over the last couple years, and it's called the main character syndrome. Now, at first, I didn't know what that meant, but when I really delve into it, basically the concept is called main character syndrome, meaning whoever that person is, you're the main character in this movie, and everybody else is background noise. That is a twisted. I mean, that's saying that basically you're more important than what you are. The
Yeah,
world
yeah,
doesn't revolve around
yeah,
you. And
yeah.
there's so many people walking around, and I'm hearing this a lot all over the internet that they're the main
Teachings.
character. And I despise when I hear that because it's showing how cocky people are, how
Mhm.
boastful people are. I mean, anything can happen to us from a moment's notice. And here we are calling other people background noise. This is crazy, man. This
Yeah,
is crazy.
and since you on that, I'm gonna go ahead and put some on alongside of that too, Chad. This is part two of what you just said, because most of us we look at ourselves as the Creator has really blessed us, or the Creator has special favor for us, or the Creator is only dealing with us, or the Divine is always in our life, or the Divine is helping us, or the Divine is working on us, or everything is about us, but it's not about other people, you see. But then we'll
Right,
get with other people and talk about other people, and this is why we're selfish, man. This is why
right,
we're very egocentric. And again, it goes back to what's deep down in one's soul. And no religion, no spirituality, nothing can pull that out of a person. This comes from deep within. And you're going to have to make up in your mind, and I'm going to have to make up in my mind that I got to work on the things that I'm struggling with. And I could
right.
talk to you about for many, many years about what I need to do in my life to better myself. But most of us think that we have arrived. We think
Yeah,
that we have not sinned. We
yeah,
think that woe is everyone else, but look at me.
right,
He has that problem, but I don't have that problem. I'm
right,
just doing great. And the creator is just blessing me. And I'm walking through the paradise island. These are the mindsets that we have, and it shows how frail and how fraudulent we are. And it shows once again, Chad, that our character needs to be developed. This is why we don't get comments many times about how we can develop our character. We can
right,
stop lying. We can
right,
stop cheating. We can start doing what we say we're going to do. We can stop looking down on others. We can stop thinking we're better than other people. See, these are the comments that teaches us about character, see? And this is why it's the way it is now, because many people just want to get in front of a camera, like you said, lights, action, camera, and the bottom line is after that's said and done, it's over with, Chaz.
As we see on the screen, it says good character is not formed in a week or a month. It is created little by little, day by day. Protracted and patient effort is needed to develop good character. And this is a good quote. I forget the guy who said this, but it's basically saying every day, every year, this thing is a continual process. You can't wake up one day and think you have character for the rest of your life. You're going to have all kind of circumstances coming at you, all kind of issues, all kind of problems, all kind of chaos. And
Yeah.
that's going to build you up day by day. But as I said earlier, us in this society, we're a microwave. We want everything quick. We don't have patience. We don't have time. And we have to learn patience. And if you want to have good character, as his brother mentioned on the screen, this is going to be a continual process. And
And let me add to that, Chaz, because I think what we do is we forget a lot.
okay,
Everything takes time. And I said this last week, and I just want to go back and kind of comb through it. When I gained all the weight that I gained, it didn't take me overnight to gain that weight. It
Right.
took me a long time to gain weight. And I
Right.
know that it did. But in my mind, I want it off tomorrow, or because I watched some commercials that said within 30 days, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. So I get frustrated and I don't want to do it. And the
Right.
bottom line is, we all know this truth, and I'm going to say it slow.
Okay.
Here's the truth that we know. Everything in this world, everything in this life takes time.
Right.
Think back when you were a baby. Now look at you. Think back when I was a baby. Now look at me. That took a long time to get where you are now. It took
Right.
a long time for me to get where I am now. Everything in life takes time, you see. We can't
Yeah.
remember the time when we became an adolescent. We can't remember the time that we became a young adult. I can't remember the time that I became a senior citizen. See, we want everything quick, man, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
with this microwave mentality, and
Yeah.
that's the problem with us with character. It takes time to stop cheating. It takes time to stop lying. It takes time to stop procrastinating, but we got to work on it, Chaz. We can't
Oh
talk
yeah.
about it. We got to
Yeah.
be about it.
And I'll take it a step further, and we got a couple more comments that just piled in. But sometimes taking a short route is worse for you. For example, I'll go for this drug that's been all over the internet, all over Google, all over the TV. I believe it's called Ozempic. Some of these people are so desperate now. I can't. I hate saying this, but they're so desperate to get this weight off. They take this Ozempic. They feel great for a week or two, and before you know it, they pick the weight back on 2 times. Now they're worse. Now the Ozempic that they took that messed the kidneys up, messed all these things up. Now it's like, was that really worth it for to get that Ozempic shot? Or not only Ozempic, there's all kind of other drugs and shortcuts. There's a weight surgery you can get. And those things, yeah, it feels good quickly, but when that thing comes back on you, it's worse. So sometimes we have to say, you know what? The longer process is better for me instead of always looking for the short
Yeah,
route.
that's a character issue too, Chaz. That's a character issue because character will say, you know what, I understand, so I need to take my time and work through this, getting this weight off. You know, I need to take my time, or whatever the case may be.
Sister Nikita fires in here. We appreciate her. She says, "Hey, family, please keep my son in prayer. He is still in the ICU." And then she also says, "I love this conversation." Well, Sister Nikita, I'm sorry to hear that terrible news. I will do that. I really, really don't like hearing that kind of news. That is very hurtful, very sad. Things do happen in this life, and I know this is a cliche. Some people may say it's cliche, but we want him to keep his head up because it's easy when we're going through things to, just lie down. Hopefully he has a fighting spirit and keep fighting as hard as he can. But I'm sorry to hear that news, Sister Nikita. Very, very sorry.
Ditto.
Now I want to play this real quick. Now this goes to number 7 right here. It says, "Be
Uh-oh.
humble. Don't think
Uh-oh.
of yourself better than others." Now this guy that played this, I get what he's trying to say. He's trying to teach this guy good character, but he's pushed him a little bit too far. And in fact, one of it is Ali, and then one of them is his homeboys.
It's okay. Besides, when it becomes a strain, don't want to talk about. That's what you want to do, strain. You want to run to your thoughts like sin. You want to run to the feels like you're going to blow up. You want to keep running to your legs and pain. Till you're going to die. You're going to fall out. You run to your stomach. It's going to burst. Till your heart starts pounding. You want to quit. You can't go another inch. You can't go another step. But you keep going. You should just go until you fall out in your tracks.
Now this
Just
goes
it was breaking up. Yeah, you're gonna have to explain that to us because it was breaking up on our end. So can you just summarize that to us and let us know what was said?
So basically, it says, "Be humble." Now, Ali was a guy who had money and status. He could have easily said, "You know what? My homeboys that I grew up with, I'm not jogging with y'all. I'm better than you. In fact, don't even hit me up." But basically, his homeboy was saying that his doctor said when he runs and he gets tired, he needs to quit. And Ali was telling him, even though I don't agree, he's saying when you get tired or you feel like you got to throw up, keep going. He was showing him character. And I was saying it ties into this one because when you got money like that, Ali could have said, "The hell with you. I'm not hanging with you. Don't call my phone." But they were out in the woods jogging. And he was basically trying to teach this guy to keep fighting through it, even though things get tough. But What was your excuse me? What was your take on this one?
Yeah, be humble. Don't think of ourselves as better than others. But it's hard to do that when people are telling you you look good. You when you put clothes on, you know look in the mirror, and it's okay to be prideful in yourself. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but I'm talking about the arrogance where you look down on others. See, and when
Right,
you had a nice vehicle, or people say, everybody says you look good, and it gets to our head. See, and then when people don't say it, we think that we're not good. So
right,
being humble is seeing yourself as you really are. And that is, I'm not saying you're a worm. Some people try to make you feel like you're low. We're not saying that. I'm saying be who you are. Don't
right.
think you're better than other people. And no book, listen, Chaz,
Okay.
I'm not against any book. But no book should have to tell you this. You know this, man, and I know this. We all know this. We have to think of ourselves as who we really are. And if
Right.
the next man has something that we don't have, those are just material possessions. But what's inside of our hearts, we don't have these discussions. And this is why a lot of us are like those animals, those dogs
Whoa.
that's trying to chase their tail. They're running in circles because they never get this kind of language because their appetite. This is not the kind of food that they want to eat, man. They want to eat food about name it and claim it. They want to
Yeah.
eat food about pie in the sky. They want to eat food about some principles that was written on stones. They want to eat food that's just making them think that when they leave this earth, it's going to be better. They don't want to deal with right now being who they are and working through that. This is some of the best language. This sermon that you're teaching, this lecture that you're giving, these are some of the best words I've heard in a long time that have no strings attached because you're not asking for money. I'm not asking for money. You're not trying to trick people. I'm not trying to trick people. You're not trying to sing people happy. I'm not trying to sing people happy. These are just cold-blooded truths that most of us watching this know is true. But Chaz, we've got so much in us, man. We don't know whether we're going or coming. That's why we always try to pull out a certain word or a certain verse or a certain surah or a certain something to make people think we know these things. When in actuality, Chaz, every one of us, we're struggling, man. We're
Yeah.
all struggling. You and me, we're all struggling.
Yeah. And I'll just take it a step further. Now, I don't wish ill upon no one. I don't wish nothing happened. But what happens sometimes in life, people have a lot of wealth, they have a lot of money, and cancer hits them or something terrible. They get in a terrible car crash. Now, when they're laid up in the hospital bed, now they got a humility. Now they're humble. Now they want people to come and see them. Now they got all this humility. And I'm saying that because it shouldn't take that, but that's what happens to a lot of these people, brother. It takes something tragic like that to happen for these people to come down to earth. And that's
You know what, Chad? And I can't let that go because we need to go to our next point on these are ways to develop character, be humble. But Chaz, you know why they like that? I'm gonna tell
why
you
is
why
that?
they like that because they know that the game is almost over. They know they know that life is almost done. And
Okay.
they're afraid because they know that they didn't do all those things that was in that book. They didn't do all those. And so they're afraid to close their eyes, man, because they figure that now the real you gonna be found out. You are not the person you said you were. I was not the person I thought I was. And now the game is almost over, and we know that time is running out. So now we're panicking. We're nervous. We're scared because we think we think that we think the worst of what's gonna happen to us because we know in our hearts we didn't
Right.
do what we said we were gonna do. Our character was not developed.
Wow. Wow. Well said. As we move on to number 8 here, it says work hard in life, give your best effort. And this prevents future regret. And this builds a sense of pride regardless of the outcome. You know, you hear this a lot. Some people say, well, when I was younger, I really wish I would have, got that degree, or I wish I would have gave that job my all because now I could have had a 401k and all these things. See, if you do work hard in life and give your best effort, you won't have to do that. But see, like I said earlier, in this society, we want to show up halfway, give a ham-handed job, do things halfway, and then when things don't turn out, we get angry. So if you do give your best effort, regardless of the outcome, it'll put you at ease and you won't have to worry and stress about what shoulda, woulda, coulda happened.
Yeah, we should all work hard in life, no matter what it is that we're doing. Whether it's a profession or whether it's just on day-to-day mundane things that we do. Chaz, we should always teach children to work hard. we should teach all of us as people that we should work hard, because in life, life is beautiful. Life is really rewarding. And I don't mean working so hard to where you cannot do anything, that you're just so stressed, but I mean work hard in the ideal of teaching people the truth. Work hard in speaking to people with respect. Work hard in taking care of your body. Work hard in taking care of your mind. Work hard in, treating those who are less fortunate. See, this is what we mean when we say work hard, as opposed to punching in a clock, doing 15 hours a day, making people think that, you're doing something that you're not. So again, Chaz, this is one of the most beautiful, down-to-earth conversations. And see, we have this conversation every Wednesday. We don't steep our conversation in all this religious rhetoric. We don't knock people that's into it. We applaud you if you apply the principles. We don't care what you believe. We don't care what you think. We just want you to be able to treat people the way they should be treated. And that comes from within. No book is going to teach you that. That comes from within, because chances are, Chaz, when you think about it, as I said earlier, all our lives we've been reading books. And those books are not helping us, because many of us, we're struggling with character. So this is practical stuff that we can talk about, that we can try to help people realize that look in the mirror at yourself and quit tricking yourself and quit lying to yourself and start working on those things that can make you a better person.
And she fires in here. She says, prayers for your son. She's talking to Sister Nikita. We appreciate that. This is an open show. If people have things that's going on with their health, let us know. We're here to comfort you. We're here to help push you and your family through whatever you guys are going through.
Oh, that reminds me, Chaz. We have a doctor. He's a young guy, African American. I'm talking to him now. I'm gonna try to get him to come on if I can. His name is Dr. Eric Johnson. He's a nutritionist. He's a nutritionist, and he's about maybe 40 years old. Very sharp, and I'm trying my best to get him to come on our broadcast so he can talk about the importance of nutrition. And man, he's a really wise guy, very smart, and I really want him to come on because he's saying the same things that we're saying as far as nutrition. So that's on the back burner. So y'all, we're gonna try to get him on here pretty soon.
Okay, so that'll be into the whole health and working out kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we hope that brother does come on. We would love to have new people as always. We appreciate you for checking Eric out. Number 9. Control your emotions. Respond. Don't just react. This involves thinking in the toughest moments. See, in the heat of the moment, we don't control our emotions. We lash out. We just go crazy at that split second. But even though in the heat of the moment, we have to say, you know what? This reaction doesn't deserve this type of reaction. But as we grew up, brother, and you know it, being a black person, our family taught us not to take any mess. The first person that crosses you or disrespects you, you let them have it. And see, that's not the kind of way to be, because your blood pressure is going to be up. You're going to have a stroke, or something bad can happen where you just pass out. So you should control your emotions. Don't just fly off at the handle and be what you call a loose cannon.
We've done many broadcasts on the controlling of one's emotions. And this has just happened to be a part of tonight's subject, because that's how you develop character. Every one of these points that come up, these points are how you develop character. So the way you develop character is control your emotions. Things are going to happen to us every day. Now, sometimes we do need to kind of ratchet it up to maybe level 4 or 5, but that throwing a conniption fit, being apoplectic, these are the things we're talking about. That's not good for our health. And see, many of us don't understand that thinking involves looking at tough times and saying, you know what, this is a tough time, so let me respond. Because most of us, you can tell when we're going through. And a lot of times, if I'm going through something and you say, big brother, let me get that $5. Don't ask me anything. I don't have to. Yeah. And that's really not for you. That's because I'm going through something. And instead of saying, you know what, I'm financially strapped right now, I don't have it, and I'm going through a lot, I lash out at you so that you can think that you're the problem, when the problem is I have my character in that area needs to be developed. Chaz, we need to continue to talk about developing character, because many of us as African Americans, we need much more help than this broadcast, but we have to keep these ideas out front.
I agree. And like you said, we all have had that. And if you've done that in the past, say, you know what, going this day forward, I'm not going to let people get the best of me, because here's the thing. Are you going to be doing that for the rest of your life? There's always going to be a fool, a nut job, an imbecile. They're always going to come at you, and you can't keep living like that, because I'm telling you, something's going to happen to you if you keep acting or reacting like that every time something small comes up. Number 10.
Uh-oh.
Be dependable. Be reliable and trustworthy. Especially, there's people who take pride in their jobs. They never late. They always on time. They get all the overtime they can. And see, the problem with that is 90% of the time you hear these stories, and I was a victim of this, where you show up and do the best that you can, and the manager, because of at will or some stupid, crazy doctrine, they'll say, we can't use you anymore. But the whole point that I'm getting at here is you should be dependable. When I say your name around others, they should be able to say, I can rely on that brother. He's going to come and help me with whatever I have. I can trust him to do the right thing. But see, a lot of us are the opposite. We can't rely on this brother. We always expecting the worst to happen. He's unreliable. And we have to break free from that, basically.
Let me turn this on his head, Chazz. I'm going to turn this whole number 10, be dependable, upon his head. What do I mean when I say that? When I say I'm going to turn it on his head, I'm going to say it this way. Be dependable to yourself. Be dependable to yourself. Be reliable and trustworthy to yourself. Take care of your mind. Watch what you allow to go inside your mind, Chazz, and myself and those who are watching this. Be dependable to yourself. Always take care of your body. Know that things that are out there that we put in our bodies is not good for us. So be dependable. Know that you're going to show up on time and do the right thing for your body. Also, Chazz, be dependable to your children, your relatives. Teach these kids what's true, what's right, what's honorable. Teach these kids how to be reliable, how to be trustworthy. When our names are mentioned, we should do an inventory in our own hearts and say, are we dependable to ourselves? Do we take care of ourselves? Are we getting enough sleep? Are we treating our bodies properly? Are we helping those people that we know need help? Are we feeding our minds with the things that we need? Are we feeding with nonsense? So be dependable to our own selves. That's how you develop character. Because if you can't be dependable to yourself, I know I can't be dependable to no one else, because I'm not even dependable to my own self. And many of us don't want to get deep-seated. And I'm going to say this till I leave this earth. We want to run to buildings. We want to put food out for the ancestors. We want to talk about spirituality. I'm indicting all of us. We want to talk about religion. We want to talk about things that make us feel good, as opposed to doing what we're supposed to do. That's why I'm trying to say, Chazz, a lot of that stuff, it doesn't make any sense, because it doesn't work. And it's not because the books don't work. It's because we don't work. We don't do what we're supposed to do, man. All those books have beautiful principles in them. The Bible, the Quran, spiritual, whatever you, even atheists, those who don't believe, they all have good things if we apply it. But our problem is we want to use that as a cover-up, as a shield, as a sword, as they say. That thing is so dull. That thing is so dull, man. It's like butter, man. It ain't gonna cut anything, man.
I've heard a lot of those Hebrew guys.
That ankh is like butter too. It's melting. It's nothing, man. You know, that's why I don't believe that stuff, man. And I'm not trying to promote anything. I'm just saying that doesn't make any sense when I know in my heart I'm not the person that I think I am. That's self-deception, man.
Well said. Number 11. Forgive others. Let go of harboring bitterness, like you just said. Now, that Bible says, if you don't forgive others, Mashiach won't forgive you. So my question is this. Why are we holding on to so much hate? Brother, some of these things that happened to us was 20, 30, 40 years ago, and we're still responding as if it happened yesterday. So, I mean, this is ridiculous, man.
Yeah, you're right, Chazz. In principle, see, this is what I like about having these kind of discussions. There are some things that's called theory. In other words, it's an ideal. And the ideal, when you put something with the ideal in your mind, that feels good. When you read these stories and you look at these biblical stories and these Islamic stories, when you look at all these spiritual stories, these Buddhist stories, they sound good when you think about them. You know, how often shall you forgive your brother? 70 times 7. That sounds good, Chazz. It really sounds good, man. But many of us, we haven't even forgiven ourselves. See, We haven't even forgiven ourselves for the things that we've done way back in the day and the things that we struggle with today. See, this is the kind of conversation that you can't have too many people sitting at the table with because it's so deep, but it's really profound and it's practical. It's not so deep that it's going over everybody's head. I mean, you don't have your PhD. You're using big words that no one understands. You know, I'm not this geneticist who's talking about biology where people thinking that I'm really all. These are some simple truths that many people don't want to adjust their lives, and you and I included. And this is why we won't let go of harboring bitterness in our hearts. But yet we'll use other books and other phrases to make people think that we are doing that. We're not. So that's how we develop character. We have to forgive others, man. We really do.
And that was a good point. Like you said, a lot of us haven't forgiven ourselves. I never thought of it that way. She brought it out. And we have to, like you said, whatever happened, happened. But all you're doing is piling up stress, piling up more problems. And pretty soon, like I said, I don't want this to happen. If you keep all that stress piled in like that, you're going to have a stroke. But we have to learn, like you said, to forgive ourselves for things that have happened in the past. You got to let that stuff go. Number 12 says, be patient with yourself and others. Yeah, a lot of us, like I said, we don't have a patience. Everybody's in a rush. Everybody's in a rush on the highway. Everybody's in a rush at the store. Somebody makes a minor mistake, we overreact. We don't have patience for others. And it's like we make mistakes too. And sometimes we don't always try to, but we do. So my question is, when we make mistakes, we want people to forgive us. We want people to be patient with us or things that we, innocently do. So we have to have that grace with others as well. But like you said, that was an excellent point. You have to be patient, man. It's not worth it stressing out like this.
In developing character, one of the things that we must do is right on the screen, like you said, is being patient. And one of the things that we have to look at, Chaz, when it comes to this patience is we know how long it takes for a person to mature. In other words, here's a phrase that we say all the time, but we don't mean it. I'm a work in progress. We say that all the time. In other words, every day we're working on ourselves. Right. That is not true, Chaz. We only work on ourselves when we get caught doing something we shouldn't be doing, or we work on ourselves when someone has pulled the cover from over us to expose us, or when we're having a difficult time and we're trying to do everything we can. We may have a little patience, but we have to be patient with others because many of us, like myself, I remember, man, when I didn't know anything and I was saying all kind of crazy things, and some brothers were patient with me. And now that I call myself knowing a few things, I have to be patient with other people. Everybody's not where we are. You see, everybody's not on the same level that Chazz, Jahi, and everybody else that's out there. We're all on these different levels, but we have to be patient because people are still growing. This journey is going to be a lifelong journey, but a lot of us think that because we have something in our hearts, we think that we have arrived. And Chazz, we have not arrived yet.
Yeah. We got another comment. Let me see here. Sister Sharon fires in here. She says, Nikita, prayers. Okay, she's talking about her son. Yeah, you guys show her the support. She really, really needs it at this moment. Number 13, stay disciplined. Do what is right, even when you don't feel like it. I'm going to take it a step further. Do what is right when no one's looking. It's easy to do the right thing when we got all eyes on us. We're in these stores. The cameras are on us. We're in our jobs. The managers are looking at us. What are we doing at home when no one's looking? What are we doing when there's no inspector dissecting our life, our every intimate moment? What are we doing? But in the other part of it, I'll touch on is stay disciplined. Even when you do fall off, get back on it. Don't just fall off and just stop and say, you know what, that's it. That's life. I'm not doing this no more. Keep going even when you do fall off.
Yeah, and we want to encourage everyone out there because this is how you develop character. You have to stay disciplined. And that's something that's difficult at times because if you're trying to do something and it takes a long time, let's say if I'm a person who uses vulgar language and I said, I'm not going to wait till the end of the year and say I'm going to make a New Year's resolution. I'm going to start right now. And I'm going to say I'm going to stop using vulgar language. Well, I'm going to think about this whole week. What I did next week, I'm going to go back to this week and see if I'm working on that. And if I am, I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to just start it and then stop. Discipline is something that's ongoing. And a lot of times we have that microwave mentality. and we don't know what discipline is. And discipline is like doing the same thing over and over and over until you reach the desired goal of the desired goal that you want in life. So we have to stay disciplined. And that's one of the things that a lot of us haven't had a chance to do yet, because we start something and we won't finish it. We start something, we won't finish it.
Yeah, and I'll take it a step further. Do keep going even when no one gives you compliments. Now, let me be clear. There's nothing wrong with us saying, you know what, brother, you know what, sister, you got a nice haircut or you got a nice pair of shoes on, whatever. But see, when we don't get those compliments, when we don't get those accolades, we feel slighted, we feel depressed, and we say, you know what, I was doing this for my health, or I was doing this to better myself. But since no one cares and no one's paying attention, I might as well fold up shop and go home because nobody cares. And that you shouldn't live that way. And that's a different angle I wanted to spin here. Sister Marie fires in here. She says, that's a good statement, being patient. I know I have to work on that myself. Patience takes discipline and understanding. We appreciate that comment. She's saying, look, I have issues. I have patience issues myself. I'm ready to explode on people. I can't stand when people get on my nerves at times. And she's admitting this. So we appreciate her for logging in and saying that. But at the end of the day, she's saying she has to work on herself as well. And we appreciate her for her honesty.
Yeah, and see, Chaz, that's one of the things that the African-American man and woman, and again, when I use that concept, I'm not talking about everyone, but I'm talking about by and large, generally speaking. The African-American man and woman, we don't want to admit, Chaz, that our character needs developed. In other words, you would think that we live in a perfect world because everybody's perfect. No one never talks about their faults, no one never talks about their mistakes. No one talks about how to develop their character. No one makes statements about, I know this is what I got to do. I must do this, because we sit behind these phones, man. And again, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. Many of us are fraudulent. We're phonies, man. We're not the people that we think we are. And the way to become the people that we should be is we have to develop our character. And that's all of us. And that's why we're having this discussion tonight about how to develop character. This is a beautiful sermon. All these verses that you're putting on the screen. What verse we on now? I think that was number 9 or 13 or something.
It was number 13.
Yeah, I mean, I know this is not a religious setting, but I'm using that as just some some nice fodder. You're on verse. What's the next verse says, Chaz, about this?
Okay. Sorry, we got caught up here. Number 14 says, listen well, seek to understand before speaking. Yeah, and we gotta understand to start listening to others. We're so quick to cut people off and want to get the first word in to get the answer out correctly. We gotta sit back and listen to what these people are saying, because sometimes when we're not listening, the other person feels like you don't really care because you're not sitting thoroughly listening to what that man or woman has to say.
Yeah, and I want to add to that too. We might have to end up on this because we only have about 3 minutes left. But once again, when we talk about listen well and seek to understand before speaking, we're not just talking about with our ears. Now, we are talking about our ears, but we're saying listen with your heart. Listen to what people are saying that they're not saying. This is some intense stuff. This is a deep discussion, Chaz. This is really profound. It really is. Because what we're saying is all of us have to work on ourselves. We're talking about character. And many of us don't want to listen because we think we know everything. Or like you just mentioned, when one person is talking, instead of listening, we're ready to say something else to try to shoot out something that's profound that no one has ever said. And that's not what it's all about. Life is about reciprocal. It's being a reciprocal person where you say something and I listen to understand. Once I understand, I'll clarify, and then I'll speak, and then you'll speak. And the bottom line is we're learning from each other. Like two tennis players. I hit the ball in your court, you hit it back in mine, but we're both learning at the same time. We're understanding each other as opposed to just going at each other, just talking, trying to get something out that no one has ever said.
Well said. And we got 1 minute here. I appreciate this conversation that was very, very well thought out. And we had an excellent time for all the people who commented, Sister Marie, Sister Sharon, Sister Barbara, all you guys. We appreciate you guys for keeping this show going. But tonight was an excellent broadcast. It was about character. What are we doing when people aren't looking? Why do we have short tempers? Why do we always feel like we are bigger than what we really are. We don't have compassion for others. All these things build with character. Why do we act the way we do when things aren't going our way? And my thing with character is, like we said earlier, it's a continuous process. Yes, there's going to be hiccups. Yes, there's going to be mishaps, but you have to keep going. You have to keep striving instead of something bad happens and you just throw in the towel. What are you doing? And I keep hitting this point is, what do you do when you don't have any cameras on you or any kind of inspection going on? I'll go ahead and pass it to you.
Like this broadcast, share this broadcast. Come back next Wednesday. This broadcast can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. What you got tonight is what you're going to always get when it comes to Chazz and I, because we're just two people that's doing the best we can to help teach ourselves and others positive principles, things that we can do without beating you over the head with a book. We might be taking principles from books, but we're trying, and our ancestors who taught us, our parents, our grandparents, aunties and uncles, as we grew up, all these are truths that we need to apply. So we're just trying to amalgamate them and put them all down so that we can learn. And tonight we're talking about what's inside of us. That's what character is. It's not what's on the outside. It's not what you have and not what I have. It's what's on the inside of us. And a lot of us, we're going to have to develop this character, which means we're going to have to work at it. That's me, yourself, and everyone who's watching this. We have to work on character, and we'll come back next week, Chazz, and we'll finish up with some more development character issues so people can get more into it. But we definitely thank you all because we appreciate your viewership, and we know that all of us are in the same boat. I'm no better than you. You're no better than me. We're all learning. We're all working together, and we want to make each other the best people that we can be. So developing character is crucial to all of us, y'all. And no matter what you do, no matter what you believe, no matter what you think, do the right thing and work on yourself so this world can be a better place to live in. And having said that, Chazz, I appreciate it, and we'll see them next week.
Yep, and we appreciate this brother. Daryl fires in at the end. He says, good lesson. So he's applauding us for the lesson we put together. We appreciate you, brother. You're always welcome. And like I said, we hope you guys tune in next week. And thank you for all you guys that have viewed the show for us tonight. Take care, everybody.